Time now for my picks for Week 5, the players I love. But before we do that, first, let's go to the part we don't like, the injury board. But good news, no big significant injuries this week to consider. Yes, Calgary still has issues on the offensive line, but John Cornish had a big day. His value, though, I think he's a little expensive. Don't tell anyone in Calgary. CJ Gable has been practicing. There is a good chance we will see him against Saskatchewan. But as always, keep an eye on the waiver wires, keep an eye on the papers, on Twitter, at CFL. They will keep you up to date with the latest injuries. Now it's time for my picks. Let's start at the quarterback position. I love Zach Collaros against Saskatchewan. The Rough Riders defense has been horrible. But on the other side, Hamilton only knows one thing to do: pass the ball. You look at Collaros averaging almost 40 passes a game, so stick with Zach Collaros. Next up, running back Paris Cotton. Number 2 in the league, yards from scrimmage, going up against Edmonton. I know Cameron Marshall had a nice day in Week 1, but that is ages ago. The offense revolves around Paris Cotton. Next, at wide receiver, Weston Dressler. Have you seen Saskatchewan's offense? Once again, this needs to be mentioned. They're averaging over 500 yards of offense. They're averaging 140 plus yards more than the next best team, and yet they're 0-4. It's absolutely nuts. Dressler the last 2 weeks has been on fire. One of the top guys, number 5 in targets. He's consistent. You know what you're going to get from him. At the flex position, because I need to save a little money, Brad Sinopoli, wide receiver for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Tied for 5th with Dressler in targets. He's a sneaky, consistent player. You look at him week in and week out, he's not getting 120 yards, but every week he's getting you about 70 yards. I like Sinopoli. Next up defensively, Calgary. Why? What has Ottawa done the last 2 weeks? Turnovers. They're like a bakery. 3 last week against Edmonton. 4 the week before. I hate to say it, we've seen this before. I like Calgary. They could have a nice day with a couple returns. Moving over to kicker, Richie Leone, BC Lions against Toronto. Week 1, the Lions didn't score many points. Scored over 60 the last 2. Leone, the number 1 fantasy guy kicker, yet his value is still very low. Finally, at flex, Shakir Bell. Don't be the guy who doesn't have Bell on your roster. He had a great game last week, around 140 yards rushing. Here's a guy that Edmonton was feeling good about even in preseason. And with the injury to John White, people in Edmonton weren't that concerned. They knew what Bell could do, and Bell certainly did it last week. Look for a great game again against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defense that's not very good against the run. So there are my Week 5 fantasy picks. One last time, I hit it right at $1 million. If this was Price is Right, I'd get the extra boat, the catamaran, whatever. But these are good value picks, some obvious ones. Wrap it together. I like my team. Take a look at it, see if it fits with your roster. Agree, disagree. You can text or tweet me at mcos56 or at CFL. I'd give you my phone number so you could text me, but I have to go to bed early. Anyway, hopefully these picks will help you out. Enjoy Week 5. The Saskatchewan Rough Riders, the team without a win. I'm predicting they're going to win this week. I'll be honest with you, I kind of like to see them keep losing.